Spier is a wine estate in the traditional sense of the word. Beautiful old Cape gabled buildings, gardens, vineyards, a slave bell, and of course a winemaker, Johan Jordaan. Yes, Johan, Johan, the one thing that strikes me here at Spier are the different gables. Old Cape Dutch gables in different styles and in different shapes.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have had a historian come and audit the farm. And he's told us subsequently that we are one of the wine farms with the most gables, 21 by number. And what's interesting is that they all feature from a 50-year period. The first one being 1767, this beautiful old cellar building behind me, and then up to 1822, the old manor house. What we've done with all this architecture and history and art is we have collaborated it with a wine range, which we call our 21 Gables wine range, which is then our heritage range, if you like. It only consists of two varietals, Chenin Blanc, the first presumably planted grape variety in South Africa, and then Pinotage, which is obviously homegrown. We support the South African art to a very large degree, and one of those initiatives is then the creative block, which you see behind me here. And the concept on which it works is we hand out blank pieces of canvas. The artists come and they depict their form of art on the canvas, and they put it up to the curator, and she decides whether or not it's good enough. They get rewarded on the spot, and that way they have a form of income, and we put it on display so that everyone can see and acknowledge what they are doing and how good they are. And that's what we do.
And Johan, you also have outreach programs and conservation programs.
That's right. I think we've realized that we have to take responsibility for our actions. And this is the result. You can see lovely greenery here. You can see that there's life in the soil. You can see when you dig your hands into the soil, you can see lovely microorganisms and rejuvenation of soils. And I believe that is the key to ensure that we take responsibility for our custodianship, to ensure there's something left for our children and their children.
Johan, you enjoy traveling and you visited most of the winelands of the world, and I presume that you've tasted Merlot in Bordeaux. How does a good Merlot in France compare to a good Merlot in South Africa?
Well, traditionally French Merlots are known to be very sort of sensual. There's good structure in the wine, there's good minerality, which gives it a sort of an old world charm. But then again, South Africans and winemakers in South Africa can obviously do that. But what we do differently is we add a little bit of new world vibrancy to the wine. So what happens is what you get this lovely perfumey wine, sort of floral, a little bit feminine, and then with almost like a juvenile friendliness in the wine, if you like.
But it was for his 2009 Creative Block number 5 that Johan received the Diners Club Winemaker of the Year award. It's a Bordeaux blend of the 5 classic varietals. Johan, there must have been an immediate effect after you received the award. It was the wine sales, it was the attention, but can you see the long-term effect yet?
Yes, I believe so. I think initially there was a sort of a lull in people's reaction to the wine, but once they realized that it's the best Bordeaux blend in South Africa for 2011, they flocked to it. And what's good for us is it boosted sales immensely, and it's just really great to be acknowledged by a wine industry and by a wine audience, that they can see that there's good wine to be had at Spier and there's brilliant wine to be had at Spier. And as winemaker, it really brings you, it enriches your passion again. It makes you come alive again. It makes you want to try new things again. It makes you really come alive.
Wat geluk.
Baie dankie.
Johan, you're also a sportsman, and you and your wife, you cycle together, you camp together, but when are you at your happiest?
Well, I'll have to say in front of a campfire, with a glass of wine in one hand, Lausanne's hand in my other hand, and then just contemplating life, just staring into the fire, just having no care in the world. And then obviously as the music develops that the wine is making. There's a couple of jokes that'll follow soon, a couple of stories. I like a good story. And yeah, sharing it with people and having a good laugh from your tummy. That's when I'm really happy. Takes you back to your childhood days.
Johan, you always say one must stop and listen to the music that wine makes.
Yes, I'm a firm believer of that. We often are so hurried and we chase through life and we never really experience what the wine is telling us while we share it with friends and colleagues. It starts with a subtle sort of classical music, if you like, and then it develops into an ensemble of instruments and a crescendo of noises, if you like. Sometimes rock concerts, you never know, but it all depends on oneself. And I often believe that wine is the real sort of nurturing music under a conversation. And the more beautiful the music, the more fluent the conversation, the more memorable the wine. So for me, listen. That's what we must do.